What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Chris.
And quick reminder, make sure to play This War of Mine and Day of the Tentacle, both games offered on PlayStation Plus. If you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, we'll be talking about them at the end of the month on Plus Club. Make sure to join us for that. Also, Game of the Month is Killing Floor 2, which you can now get on PS4 as well. So if you like shooters, you like shooting shit with friends, this game is awesome. But with that, we have 4 bits of news. So let's get into that.
So Star Citizen has hit $141 million in crowdfunding now. Part of their plan going on with 2017, as quoted, I'm going to quote Chris Roberts here. Happy New Year. There are many exciting things in store for Star Citizen this year. We'll continue to modify and improve our game engine to better suit Star Citizen's unique needs. Gameplay will get deeper as new systems come online to provide players with a chance to do more than pew-pew. I also expect exciting advancements as we integrate our revolutionary tech like subsumption and procedural planets into the game. Essentially, they're saying at this point they've got the combat and flight mechanic stuff down, and they want to actually work on adding some life and I guess content besides just the mechanical aspect of the game. What do you guys think about, first off, them making 141 in crowdfunding, and secondly, their plan for the future?
Just a real quick thing I want to throw out there. I just looked this up. Apparently, a lot of AAA games, and this is as of 4 years ago, so I don't think it's changed too much, but a AAA game, I guess, are typically made of the upwards of about 60 million. They can go up higher than that, but a lot of them on average are around 60 million. So to take that into consideration, this is quite a bit more.
It's like over 2 games at that point.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not really surprised, but I'm also actually surprised too, because that's a shitload when you think about that number. A shitload of money.
Yeah.
You look at the game, it looks fantastic. I have high hopes for it. I hear nothing but good things about it, and the promise of what it is, and how much they keep working on the fucking game. It's like it's never going to come out. So I think it's great. They have big plans, they have big ideas for this game, and that budget is, they don't have an excuse that when it comes to how much money they had. As for the make the game deeper, you know, I'm an FPS fan. I love games where you shoot stuff, but I do get bored from just soulless shooters. We just walk in a room, shoot things, move on to the next room, blah, 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 blah. And this game does look super promising, and graphically it's amazing looking, but it would be a big disappointment if the game was literally just get on your ship, fly around, look at everything, be like, wow, this is an amazing looking game. But then you just get on the ground and start shooting some shit. I feel like the visual charm of it would wear off.
Pretty quickly, yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm glad that they are talking about that openly and acknowledging, hey, we want to make this a deeper experience than just a shooter. Because it didn't even start off as a shooter. It was originally just a space sim. So.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, people forget that, you know, Chris Roberts made Freelancer, and then before that, Wing Commander?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, he knows these games. And Freelancer was, for its time, a PC game, especially being a PC game, a hit. I remember a lot of people that were playing Freelancer. It was really popular for a while in the PC community, back before, you know, the PC community became kind of mainstream.
And that game actually, not that this really matters to the story, but that game had longevity to it, because I played when it first came out when I was younger, wasn't into it at all. Played it later in my life, and even then, I was like, this game's fucking awesome.
It's huge, too, and it's
yeah.
only an 800 megabyte file.
Yeah.
And how much content. But
so ambition's not new for this guy.
As we all know, Chris Roberts went on hiatus for 10 years, comes back, and he literally posted something where he was like, hey, back when I made stuff like Freelancer, I didn't feel like we were at the point where we could make the space game that I had always wanted when I was a kid. And so he's like, I feel like now the tech's at the point.
Caught up, yeah.
Tech is caught up, and I can finally start to make the game that I want. And so he's like, well,
kind of James Cameron with Avatar.
And then he started that Kickstarter, and then I forget what number they reached with that Kickstarter before he's like, all right, we're going to take this off of Kickstarter because we've got the press we need. And it was just, the money was just ramping up incredibly fast.
Yeah. Well, it also, I mean, that shows how much people were looking for this kind of game anyways, because the genre had kind of died off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'd gotten into a lot of, like, you know, it was like World War II shooters there for a while, and then everything was so like modern based this, modern based that. So I think people were just ready for the next like sci-fi thing to come out.
I'm just shocked about how much money they got. That's
It's a lot of money.
so much fucking money, and it's great. I do worry a little though that because they want to make it deeper, that it might delay the game release further. And I'm hoping not. And I think the best way they could do it is like, work up to the point where they had wanted to initially release it, and then continue adding like bits here and there through updates and hot fixes and things like that.
I don't think this is the type of game that's ever going to be finished.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Well, and the big thing with that too is like any other developer, they'd give you a time. They're like, this is going to come out winter 2016.
Yeah.
Then they'd keep delaying it. These guys aren't doing that. They just keep working on it and working on it and working on it. Like, this is a new thing we're adding. This is a new thing. We have big high hopes for 2017 as a year. So yeah, these guys are definitely taking their time. They're not trying to rush out a product. They already made a shitload, and the game's still in development. So I mean, those aren't really. I don't know. That doesn't concern me too much about that. The only thing that worries me is if the game does come out after how long it's been in development and the amount of money that's been sunk into it, and it's just mediocre. I mean, that'd be a big deal.
My only concern is that, because we know from the post that Chris Robert makes, he's very passionate about making this game like the ultimate, like his dream game, essentially. That we might get that kind of, I forget who that guy from 3D Realms was, the guy who was working on Duke Nukem Forever. Basically, where he's just so passionate about, he wants the game to be so perfect that he's just, he's nitpicking every little thing, and it's just delaying the game because it's not perfect from like his artistic standpoint.
Yeah, and really, really long delays normally hurt games. Delaying games is always good typically, but if you start going into the multi-year delays, there's normally problems there. I mean, look at Last Guardian. I haven't played it, but people have been saying it's not what they were hoping for, has some good ideas, but that long delay hurt it. Duke Nukem Forever absolutely was hurt by that long delay.
But Gamescom, what they was it Gamescom where they had that whole press conference?
Well, they had their own convention as well.
Yeah, their own little convention, and they showed off what like their 3.0 idea was, and it just everyone was like, "This looks. I want this. I want to play this."
Well, I was already excited for the game, and I saw that, and I was like, "Holy shit!" When they announced procedurally generated planets, after No Man's Sky, I was like, "Holy shit!" No Man's Sky. At first, I'm like, "Oh, it looks like that, so they can do all that." And then I look at that game, like, I guess that doesn't matter because that game looks amazing.
Yeah.
And they're going to do the same fucking thing. That's insane. The ambition is just so fucking high on this project, and that budget. If they can't deliver, I mean, that's just gonna suck because they have every opportunity in the world. Everyone's being patient, allowing this game to take its time. They're giving it all their money, and you got some really dedicated guys.
And even in the last 2 years, the content on it has been ramping because the first 2 years or so was them literally just making the engine. I thought
and all the physics and space and stuff like that.
I think it's also helping that they actually have stuff that you can play from the game right now. You buy a package, you can explore kind of a small area of this universe. You can hang out in space stations. There's a single player mission. You can meet with other players. There's also an arena mode that's separate, so you can actually do dogfighting with other players. And while you're doing all this stuff, exploring, they're also getting that feedback too.
Yeah.
They're basically recording what's going on in the game, and they're
you're paying to alpha it.
Yeah.
Also,
exactly.
another bit of news on this game that I forgot about, but apparently they are adding a adversarial FPS mode to this game too, where there'll be arenas and stuff, and you'll compete against other teams. So I mean, this game's literally trying to just fucking hit everything.
Yeah, and they've even got they hit the mark for, they have a whole single player campaign. Just separate from the open world stuff where you play with other players. They have that in the works. They're like, there will be an entire campaign of single player storyline that you can play through in addition to the open world part of it. I forget the name of it, but you can find it on their website.
So overall, everyone excited for this game though?
Been excited
general thoughts?
I've been hyped, yeah.
Yeah. Chris?
I've been kind of burned by No Man's Sky, so these space exploration games, I've kind of you promised big things, we'll see what happens.
But Sean Murray
different.
only doing something like, what was it, Joe Danger or whatever it was, that little kind of. And we've seen Chris Roberts, what he delivered with Freelance.
That is a really good point too, because I remember when I saw No Man's Sky, allowed myself to overhype it and go, holy shit, these guys did Joe Danger, now they're doing this. Now I'm like, those guys did do Joe Danger, so this makes sense.
And
whereas
Chris
like
Roberts,
his background is already really big and ambitious, so he doesn't have he didn't do some small 2D perspective indie game. So hopefully it turns out really well though. Can't wait to I just need to buy the early access of that game because I'm just so stoked.
You can buy
on
a
it.
package for $45.
Yeah, I've been waiting actually for the I think 3.0 to be released or whatever because I want to do more than what is offered when I was looking into it at the time. I can wait on it, but yeah. Rob, bring in the second bit of news.
So, as we're all familiar with EverQuest Next, it appears that here in February 21st to be exact, they are going to be shutting down the servers for the game.
Landmark.
Oh, Landmark, yes, sorry. EverQuest Landmark, which is part of EverQuest Next, or was going to be part of EverQuest Next. I'm really upset about it because, as we all saw a few years ago, when George, I can't remember the guy who basically the grandfather of EverQuest, was like, "Here's the game we're working on." I was like, "This is really ambitious, really cool. We're going to release EverQuest Landmark. You guys will be able to build stuff, help us, kind of design the world." And so I was on the hype train, and then Daybreak Games bought it, fired like 2/3 of the staff. June 10th. They released Landmark, the unfinished, little building game that they made to work for EverQuest Next. They released it as its own game with lots of microtransactions, and 6-7 months later, now they're shutting it down.
It's really interesting. I actually didn't know that part about the story because originally when I saw EverQuest Next, I was like, this literally is the next generation of MMOs. This is a really big deal because this is a true MMO that is going to offer things that your average Minecraft type game has now to let you actually and truly change the world and affect it. And then when they were making Landmark, it was like this cool early concept to show you what the engine's like, what you're going to be able to do in it, to build stuff. And then they promised anything that's really neat in Landmark that everyone loved and got rated high, it would actually make its way into the MMO.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really fucking neat. I had no idea someone else bought it though, or did something differently with it. Because then EverQuest Next got canceled, which really fucking killed me. Landmark still existed. I was like, what are we doing with this? This was never intended to be a game.
Right.
And they're still rolling out updates with it and stuff. I'm like, is this your game now? Like, because this is barely a fucking...
It's literally Daybreak Games took what they had made, stopped any further production on it. We're like, just patch the holes, make sure that this is a complete thing, and then just kind of ship it out as is.
Yeah, so I
Just
saw
to recoup
microtransactions being introduced in it too. I was like, the fuck you doing? This is pretty much a demo. Like, why are you getting extra money off of it? It's so weird to me. But anyway, with it shutting down in February, it's expected. I actually wasn't even thinking about this game at all until I heard that. I was like, oh wow, they kept it up that long. That's kind of interesting. The only thing that is negative about this is it's just another reminder of what could have been not working for me, but also the people who maybe have been playing on Landmark this long. It always sucks when servers go down for any game people like. So that sucks for them. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my opinion on that.
I just feel like they're punished. It's like this weird, like, punishing thing for the game developers. Like, Daybreak is already making a bad name for itself since Sony, basically sold off Sony Online Entertainment. They rebranded themselves. But you've got this dedicated fan base that like this game, and they release, this half-assed microtransaction-ridden thing it's literally a cash grab. It's definition of a cash grab. Just get it out the door, we'll get money for it, and then to like 7 months later you're just like, well, it's not making us money, so see ya.
I'm pretty sure me and you bought Landmark, right?
Yeah.
I have Landmark as well.
Yeah. I played it for a little bit. I was really excited about Next, and then it got canceled. And once I heard it got canceled, I had no interest in playing Landmark anymore. And they got my money, so I mean, good for them.
Yeah.
It's only $20, so, but still.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
The whole situation's stupid. It's been stupid. Because I was under the original impression that they stopped doing EverQuest Next because it wasn't coming together as a game. Was what I thought I had heard.
That's what they had said. I mean, regardless of the politics, that's what was said.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It was a really ambitious idea. So it's probably hard, not everybody's going to be able to nail a great idea. Maybe someone,
Right.
Will come along and be able to do what they tried to do. Very much like No Man's Sky and Star Citizen. One person tried it, didn't work out. Star Citizen will probably nail it.
It just feels like Sony Online Entertainment just sold this off. I don't know why. Maybe just the numbers for them weren't working out, so they're like, we need to sell this. And then Daybreak Games comes. Well, not Daybreak. I forget the name of the actual company. It's basically an investment firm, and just buys it up. And it's literally just them liquidating what's left, just to make whatever money they can.
So then this company owns EverQuest 1 and 2 at that point, though.
Yes, they own those as well, and PlanetSide.
Yeah, I know they have PlanetSide 2.
Huh. I wonder how those games are faring now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious to see how PlanetSide 2 is doing. I actually really liked it when it first came out, and I fell out of it because when I tried to play it on... I played on PC, I loved it, and I played on PS4, and it was fucking embarrassing. There was like nobody there. There was like 3 of us.
Sensitivity is garbage.
Yeah.
How'd you feel
Chris.
about it, Chris?
Well, I've never actually played any of the EverQuest games, but from a person who has played a lot of MMOs, it's rather disappointing to hear that a new version of your favorite MMO would be canceled, and then the demo of it being just gutted into this money grab, like everybody's saying. It's very disappointing.
Had you even seen the video on, like, the presentation they did a few years back?
Probably
Basically,
not.
imagine Minecraft in an MMO.
Sounds like a weird concept to me, but
Remind me, I'll show you.
yeah, it's sad, but it's the way things go sometimes.
Especially
unfortunately.
EverQuest. EverQuest is like, you would think that has some weight to it, because, I mean, it's the granddaddy of basically all MMOs. I mean, there was a few before it, but none of them, like, burst onto the scene and made as big of an impact as EverQuest.
Yeah, before World of Warcraft came out, everyone talked about EverQuest.
Well, that's the thing, too. You always bring up EverQuest as being like, the granddaddy of it all. And people are like, well, there's ones back and blah, blah, blah. Well, those didn't solidify that MMOs are viable. They work. This is how big they can be and how popular they can be. And then WoW just fucking took and went nuts with it.
Right.
To
the point that everyone made MMOs.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it took EverQuest for WoW to even exist. And EverQuest, I do agree, the prestige of that name, it still holds weight for me, but this whole thing's just kind of embarrassing. It's kind of hard to watch something like that happen.
Yeah.
With a name like that. It just seems like bad guidance from whoever's running that shit. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that. It's shitty, and it's disappearing. So bye, I guess. Hopefully, if they try another endeavor, make it work. All right, third bit of news.
So if you have the beta version of Steam installed, you can now map games to your controller, even if they didn't have controller support. This includes the Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and any what was the term? X-axis?
X-axis
Controller.
I think they said,
they even included some flight sticks in there. So, how do you guys feel about Steam essentially just taking everyone else's hardware and making it work on their platform regardless of the game?
This takes me back to the early 2000s where I was trying to use a controller on a game, and you had to download. There's like 3 different programs back then, and they had to pay for all of them. They're like $20 a piece, and I was a young, stupid kid, and I downloaded them illegally, and you had to do all these weird things to try and get the fucking analogs to work, and all this hard work just to kind of get it to work halfway. So for me, as someone who went through that back then, how frustrating that was, it's weird that in 2017 this is finally happening, and it's awesome. I'm glad that they just made this easy, letting you plug a fucking controller in. They have their proprietary thing where you can fucking tell it exactly. The way they describe it makes it sound like you literally just I want my analog to do essentially what the mouse does. Something that simple. Not even like changing numbers and percentages and shit on your own. Like, it does it for you, it sounds like. So this is awesome. This just goes towards what Steam's been going towards for years, trying to get the casual sit on the couch gamer to play PC games. It's awesome, and I'm glad they're covering all of them. At first I thought they're only going to be doing Xbox 360
And
controllers,
controller.
and then they prioritized the PS4 controller, and now we're getting the Xbox One controller, and it's just awesome. It's just another thing about Steam that it's just really good. Steam just wants you to fucking come to Steam and not leave.
Yeah.
Give us your wallets. Just give us your wallets.
Exactly.
I'm stoked. So many times I've tried to plug in games that were supposedly support having a controller on them, and I've done it in Steam game mode, and the controller does not work for shit. And I've tried remapping the buttons and all that shit you're supposed to do, and I just could never get it to work. It's a little late, I think. 2017. It's quite a while to wait for Steam games to do this, but I am super excited for it.
I think especially now that PC gaming's slowly starting to come up in its rightful place, I believe. I mean, I love consoles, but PC master race, right? Mm-hmm. Especially now that you've got Overwatch, which was surprisingly for consoles a big hit. Mm-hmm. And that's, people are watching these streamers play this game that they love on their console. And I've seen actually I know a few people that have actually said, well, I'd like to play this on PC because I feel like that's where the real challenge is. That's when I'm like, mouse and keyboard, fighting people that, have those twitch reflexes. They wanna go to the next level. Or if they want to play at a professional level, if it's someone younger that wants to, I would love to play as professionally. Well, there's no professional circuit for the console because, there's just not the precision that you have on
the skill cap.
PC.
There's a cap. Mm-hmm. Like, you only can be as good as the controller can allow you. Mouse and keyboard offers you more in accuracy. And
the biggest thing that kids on the console complain about is Torbjorn. They're like, it's so hard to deal with that turret, whereas on PC, it's a non-issue because of how precise you can aim. So, this makes sense in that regard because you get someone that comes over, maybe they aren't very good with mouse and keyboard, so they can plug in that controller, kind of get used to it, maybe go back and forth between the two, and then eventually they just... Overwatch isn't on Steam. Well, I'm not saying Overwatch on Steam.
Just as an example, but yeah.
But I think you could plug in your Xbox controller and it would still work for Overwatch, as an example.
Probably. I mean, I'd be surprised if they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But in that vein, just...
Shelby looks skeptical.
Getting people from console to come over and giving them something that's comfortable for them, familiar with them, just to get them in the door, and then go from there.
Sure, I agree with that. But you're talking about Battle.net versus Steam, using the example you used. That's all I'm saying.
Thoughts, Shelby?
I actually tried the PS4 controller and it instantly worked. So, like you were saying, you had to mess with that stuff a lot. I mean, I'm part of that same generation, and just being able to plug it in, I went right to big screen mode and everything worked. I was like, that was awesome. I didn't have to do anything. So,
yeah, imagine if you had one of those little Steam machines on your TV. Your controller's already plugged in and knows exactly what it is. You pretty much have a console now.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a really, really smart tactic on their part.
I'm also pretty sure with the PS4 controller, the touchpad is also programmable versus its own ability to be a controller on PC without Steam. That becomes useless. So they even programmed in that touch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because, again, in that midsection between when I used to have to program controllers and now, even plug in like a 360 controller on certain games or whatever, some things weren't mappable. It didn't understand how to read the triggers because they're not actual button inputs. They actually have like a way to kind of understand. Yeah. And games couldn't understand that until people started actually just making the game do that singularly, but all games didn't do it. So
some games you could plug in the PS4 and it would work, but almost never would that touchpad work. So like Cheryl said,
full integration.
The fact that they took the time, like we want everything on these controllers to work as intended, so there's no problems, is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this, for a lot of younger people, probably feels like, oh yeah, this is the way it should work. But for us dudes in our 30s area, we can really appreciate just that simplicity of something that we've been after for so fucking long, which is kind of weird to say about PC gaming. So
downloading secondary programs to try and get something mapped so you can kind of play something with it on your PC is just this also off topic
a bit, but this reminds me back in the day too, like early 2000s. I'm trying to record my gameplay of games using like fraps and stuff, which
it's just
was fucking awful. And there's only like 3 or 4 programs that did this. It was like not a big thing. And now you can do it with everything. All the consoles record your footage. Fucking, you can use an Elgato, which I use, or you can use OBS. Like, there's so many options. And I'm just like, oh, this is so nice. This is so fucking nice. Everything for some reason now works. Took this
future.
long. The future's here. It's been here. We're cruising through it. And with that, let's talk about the upcoming future with the Nintendo Switch. Apparently, a UK retailer called GameSeek has listed the Nintendo Switch as coming out March 17th, and it is listed as 198 euros, which is roughly around 250 bucks. Now, I want to be very clear that this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be coming out that day or it's going to be that price. There's a really good chance of this. What do you guys think of that price? What do you guys think about that release date? And, yeah.
We, in the past, discussed what our comfort price would be for that, and I do believe almost all of us said in the vein of $200 to $300, so $250 is like perfect.
I've been very stern about they gotta hit that fucking $200 to $300 price point. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to sell these consoles. I mean, PS4, and Xbox One, you can get those for 250 bucks now.
Oh yeah.
So they have to get into that market. They can't show up late and be like, 500. No. Not buying your tablet for 500 bucks, bruh.
Off topic, but 2 years ago, the Xbox was $500.
Yeah.
And now it's often $250. It's just nuts how quick that happened.
They had to.
The release date, I just think it's crazy that this thing's already coming out. I mean, they really waited to the last minute to announce it, and now it's just going to be here.
Especially in these days of like leaks, they managed to keep that under wraps for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I'd heard whispers in the wind of patents they're working on.
Right.
So as I was hearing the Wii U was failing, as a lot of people speculated they were going to work on something, but it kind of seemed kind of crazy. Like, holy shit, they're going to make a new console already? And they did. But yeah, when it got confirmed, it was like not that long ago, and it's already coming out. Which, let's keep talking about this, but I have something I want to talk about from that. But Chris, thoughts?
That's cool. I'm glad I'm not waiting till winter to release the console, if it's true. And the price point is pretty reasonable, I'd say. For the tech you're getting for it, sounds awesome. I can't say anything but good things for it.
Yeah, $250 to $300, I'm buying it. Like, early, first day. That's completely manageable.
Just please release enough so that we can all get one and not have to wait and scour and search for one. I know it's a marketing ploy to do that kind of stuff, but please don't fall into that.
Yeah, I wouldn't cross your fingers on that.
I know.
Did you say what you thought about the price point, Rob?
I think it's a perfect price point. It's exactly in that market where I know, especially a parent who might have bought like a Wii for their child, because they bought it because it was that lower price point system back when Xbox 360 was out. And this is just basically more of that same. It's just going to keep people in that low cost comfort zone, and will push sales just because of the low price.
And Nintendo's been doing that for a while now, releasing consoles brand new at low prices. So.
I love Nintendo. It's like they're the crazy uncle that like shows up the day before Thanksgiving and he's got a dirt bike for you, and you're just like, and your mom's just really pissed. She's like, what is this? But you don't care because he's your favorite uncle because he does this crazy stuff and it makes you love him.
But sometimes fails you.
See, exactly.
You got your dirt bike.
Sometimes he shows up a little drunk,
but it's got no tires.
Sometimes he doesn't show up at all for years. Yeah.
The only comment I was going to make on that with the low price point is the only thing I have with that is, like he had already said, was you can get a PS4 and Xbox One for $250 very commonly now too. So that's just the console entry point at this point.
And the mobility of it, I think, also
for
kids. Like, hey, get in the van.
Kids,
we're going to
this thing to work.
Goodbye, 3DS.
But for that marketing thing, kind of like with the Wii, when they really got into that like family and child kind of marketplace, this just kind of goes along with that. Little controllers for little hands, in the back of a minivan playing this on a
it's
little
even in their
screen.
commercial. Yeah.
Exactly.
Except in our kids.
I would say I don't even like mobile consoles, and this thing looks dope as fuck. Like I want to try that out.
I'm worried about battery life a little bit.
Give me my Super 3DS attachment so I can play 3DS games.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be. I'm already buying the thing, but that'd be a huge selling point for me. One thing I want to talk about real quick though that I just thought of is, do you guys prefer when something is announced way ahead of time, or if it's announced right around release?
I'm gonna say somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of lead up, a little bit of hype, but I don't want them to overdo it, because the last thing I want is like 2 years of advertising to the point where I'm burnt out and it comes out and I don't fucking care anymore. Yeah. Or even though Final Fantasy 15 did turn out to be a good game, they really did way too many advertisements for it, and they did ruin parts of the game. So somewhere in the middle for sure.
Somewhere in the middle too. I do like when something, they're like, hey, everything's coming out. Here's the thing you were looking for. You know, that everyone was whispering about. And it's here. And you're just like, well, crap. Because I'm sure we all felt the same when they announced, they're like, hey, Nintendo Switch coming this spring. We're all like,
Yeah, holy shit.
what?
It's right around the corner.
Looks like we're all buying Nintendo consoles this spring.
Yeah, when it is kind of the long gestation period of like hype building, I think no one does it better than Rockstar, just because they don't release a shitload of trailers that just show gameplay. They show you these little tech demos that tell you what to be excited for in this planned amount of months. They kind of release a new trailer, and then a couple more months, a new trailer, and then it comes out. That way is always kind of cool because it gets you excited, gets you pumped, but you're not watching, you know, the first 5 hours of Watch Dogs, and then when you play it, you feel like you've already played this game for years. But on the opposite spectrum, I also love when you're watching E3 and they're like, this game is available today. And it's like, what? I've never even heard of this fucking thing. Yeah. This game looks awesome. It's out now.
Doesn't happen very often, but yeah.
Yeah, but I do prefer when a game's coming out sooner than later when they first announce it, because I don't have to wait as long. But it's just all how it's handled for me.
I'd say like a year and under, I think, is a good time. Yeah. Like, you know, if they're like, hey, next Christmas, here's coming this other thing. Like, yeah. Okay, so it'll be this year. It'll be, you know, but it's those things like Watch Dogs where it's, you know.
Well, and games like all the Metal Gears have always been a torturous thing for me. Because they start showing you shit 3 years before it comes out.
Or they sneak
and it's
things
like
in.
It's some big fucking trailer. It's just amazing. And it's just like the beginning of the game they made like a fucking 15-minute trailer out of somehow. And it's just amazing. And I'm like, holy shit. And then like the next year, another trailer comes out. And you're like, when's this coming out? And then another trailer comes out the next year. And you're like, fuck, dude, come on. And then it finally comes out. It's horrible.
But at least they're well known for basically hiding those little Easter eggs in just the trailer.
Yeah.
And people are just like scouring, watching frame by frame. Yep. And they find something and it leads them down this rabbit hole for like a 6-month period. And it just kind of keeps that appetite going.
At least they make their hype campaign interesting. And there's almost this own artistic strategy to their trailers alone.
Didn't they have this like weird website for like Metal Gear 5 where it was like you went there and it would slowly like unlock as you figured things out?
Yeah, there was a website that had a bunch of stuff that people were trying to figure out, and then just like with PT, randomly some company no one's ever heard of had this game called PT, and that was shown. There's a demo all of a sudden, looks like shit, the thumbnail for that game. And there's a website, and people are like, no one's heard of these fucking dudes. And with Metal Gear Solid 5 is Moby Dick Games making this amazing looking game. No one's heard of these fucking dudes. And I was like, Moby Dick Games, and I was watching, I was like, I don't know what the fuck this game is, but it looks cool as shit. And then eventually, like a day later, someone was like, it was Metal Gear Solid 5. And I was like, holy shit. And Kojima's just like, well, that was fast. I didn't think they figured that out.
Kojima just in his little cave, just like...
He was expecting a week or two, though, before someone figured it out. It's like literally like the next day someone figured it out.
Well, it was like with PT. He was like, I can't believe how quickly you guys figured it out.
Yeah, it's...
When you put out a quality product, people take note.
Well, and he's not leaving up to chance in his hints. They're placed there specifically, and you know, people are just on it. They're smarter than you would assume, I guess. But Chris, you're about the middle too, or what were you?
Kind of. I kind of like it when they tell you about the game close or console closer to when it's going to be released. Kind of like 2/3 of the way there. Not quite the middle, not quite really close to it. Just enough so that I have time to like decide if I want to get it, and if I do, I have enough time to save up for it because I have a very fulfilling job. But I have to save a lot of money up just to buy a console. So, and it's always been like that. I wanted to save a lot of money for console. So I like just to have a little bit of time, just enough to decide how much it's worth, if I'm really going to buy it.
Yeah, because they just spring it on you, just like, well.
Oh my gosh! And then I'm like, where's my power? All right.
You don't generally have to worry about games at least, though. So.
True.
All right. Any last thoughts on the Nintendo Switch price point, release date, anything at all?
I'm excited, but Mass Effect also comes out, I believe, on the same day. So
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Love you,
expensive ass day.
Nintendo. Love you.
Please,
Well, at least somebody does.
please be lying to us about it not being 3DS cross-compatible.
find out in about a week when they do their video. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Just be lying. Just be a bunch of fucking liars.
Yeah.
You guys are good at that. Just do it in a good way.
Just do it.
I think it's going to do it for this episode of Taste Tuesday, though. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Share this video with your fucking friends if you liked it. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, Tasty Gaming. Check us out on Twitch, Sleep Division. Check him out, Tasty Fruit on Twitch, and Chris. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Chris.
And until later this week, catch us on TLG Reviews and Loot Chest?
Loot Chest.
Loot Chest. Until then, have a good week, guys, and take it easy.
Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.